On October 9, Nio swapped its 30th million battery in China. It took Nio only 6 months to swap 10 million batteries from April to October. Nio is also operating battery swapping stations in European markets. By the end of 2025, the company says it will install over 4,000 such stations, including 1,000 or so outside China. Nio owners, or users, as the company calls them, have two options for getting power for their EVs. They can charge the battery as everybody else, or swap the empty battery for a new one. Nio's third-generation swap station can change the battery in about 3 minutes. Despite Tesla's CEO Elon Musk previously dismissing the concept of battery swapping as unworkable, Nio today reached the milestone of 30 million battery swaps in China. Nio operates 1937 swap stations called PSS, Power Swap Stations, in the Middle Kingdom. The first recorded Nio swap happened in May 2018, when the first PSS went live in Shenzhen. 4 years later, in June 2022, Nio celebrated its first 10th million battery swap. Nio signed a strategic cooperation framework agreement with China National Offshore Oil Corp on June 27 in Anhui province to jointly build EV charging and battery swapping infrastructure in the country. Though the two parties did not disclose the specific number of such stations that would be built, they have so far started operating 3 EV charging and battery swapping stations in the country. The company began cooperating with China's 3 major oil companies in 2021 when it signed an agreement with China Petrochemical Corp, better known as Sinopec, to jointly develop battery swapping stations. Later that year, Nio put into operation 2 battery swapping stations it built with China National Petroleum Corp in Shaanxi province in northwest China, marking a major milestone in its efforts to expand its energy replenishment network. 9 months later, in April this year, Nio saw its 20th millionth battery swap, and now Nio marked the 30 million milestone. The record day for battery swaps was October 5, when Nio swapped over 78,000 batteries in a single day. It was the end of a public holiday in China, and most people returned from their homes. Nio plans to have 2,300 PSS in China by the end of the year. Analysts believe Nio's ambition to build 4,000 battery swapping stations across the globe by 2025 is in line with those of the 3 major oil companies, which have been diversifying their businesses in recent years, including non-oil ventures such as EV charging and battery swapping services. China, which has seen rapid growth in NEVs in recent years as well as a sustained change in transportation driven by advanced technology, is a key market for both energy companies and EV manufacturers, said Luo Zhuoxian, head of intelligence and research at the Sinopec Economics and Development Research Institute. The collaboration between the two parties, with their huge retail networks and manufacturing capacity, will facilitate more advanced fast-charging solutions, bringing benefits to retail customers, he said. Sinopec vows to set up 5,000 battery swapping stations during the 14th Five-Year Plan 2021 to 2025 period to jointly push forward the country's NEV development, while CNPC aims to come up with more than 1,000 EV charging and battery swapping stations by the end of 2025. Lin Boqiang, head of the China Institute for Studies in Energy Policy at Xiamen University, said technological advances have sparked an investment spree among companies and governments globally with the intention of dominating the next generation of energy technology. The collaboration is proof of Nio's drive to ramp up its presence in the EV market at home and abroad, he said. In addition to domestic energy players, Nio has also signed strategic cooperation agreements with international energy giants, including British energy company BP and Hague-based Royal Dutch Shell. According to its agreement with Shell in 2021, the two parties will develop a network of co-branded battery swapping stations and aim to reach 100 sites by 2025. The two parties will also collaborate in Europe to provide customers with access to one of the largest roaming EV charging networks on the continent. While some people say battery swapping stations are a costly investment, Nio argues that battery swapping is both a quicker solution to powering up EVs as well as an energy storage facility to improve grid stability. Besides Nio, car makers such as BAIC and battery maker CATL are also exploring the segment, with many of their models now capable of battery swapping. Battery swapping is recently getting a reboot in the US, according to Axios. The company Ample launched a new generation swap station in May that can change the battery in about 5 minutes, about the time it takes to refill the tank. Ample claims they can deploy the swap stations across a city in days. Previously, they were experimenting with the service for Uber drivers in California and recently expanded to Spain and Japan. Ample targets mainly ride-hailing companies. If you found this video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more EV updates, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat in the world of electric vehicles. We'll be back soon with more electrifying content. Until then, stay charged and keep driving towards a cleaner, greener future.